grab my coffee. Sorry, not my coffee, my tea. Ain't no way I'm having coffee at this hour of the morning. And I hope you are well. Thank you so much for joining me, being patient. Let's get to it, shall we? Quite a few interesting things to get through today. Roundup of Harry and Meghan's trip. Some extra commentary. Some absolutely bat crazy commentary from people that just need to stop talking. But yeah, we will get through all of that as always. I think that, as usual, Harry and Meghan they cannot deal. And you'd think at this point they'd be used to it, but nope. Some people just still out here losing their minds. But that's what they get. They wanted to chase our faves out. And our faves are doing so much better without them. So that's what you get for being a bully. That's what you get for thinking that you are going to stop anointed ones. You cannot ruin God's plan. FYI, there is a very interesting conspiracy theory going around. And let me stress, it is a conspiracy theory. There is a claim that Charles passed away on Saturday, March 28th of this year. Now, the reason this conspiracy theory grew legs was because there was an account that there was a Twitter account that accurately predicted the Queen's death. And on that tweet, it had the date of the Queen's death and this conspiracy of Charles dying on March the 28th, but it was tweeted before the Queen died. Now that account has actually since disappeared, interestingly enough. But the tweet has resurfaced recently. If they manage to predict another royal's death accurately, I will truly be freaked out. Truly be freaked out. But yeah, just thought I'd put that out there. Very strange. And then you've also got just all this really weird talk about Charles's funeral in the tabloids, William King. Yeah. You make of that what you want. But if that does happen, I will really be freaked out. I might just have to fly all the way back to the UK. I might just have to fly back for the shenanigans that will go down. All right, let's get to it, shall we? First things first, the As Ever bookmark is now available. Back in stock with another what do you call it? With another engraving. This one's saying "Hold that thought." A new version of the beloved bookmark. Thoughtful sets for every reading ritual. So you can go and get that on asever.com now. So I do apologize, folks. I feel like everything, my computer. Oh my goodness. I think it's sold out. It's sold out. It has actually sold out. I've literally just checked that now. It's sold out, folks. Sorry. I'm so sorry. It's actually sold out. Now, I did say, didn't I? Because she's working with an artisan house, I would be surprised if they made any more than 500. Probably less than that even. And one person I saw on Twitter literally said that they're going to buy 7 of them. Sorry, folks, sold out. You snooze, you lose. And don't forget also they're doing the hosting kits so you can get like multiple items for cheaper. So go and get your as ever stuff. Right, next thing. Let's have an update on yes, the day 2 of Harry and Meghan in Jordan. Now, you know, the British tabloids just can't let us have anything nice. This is a humanitarian trip, innocent people who need help, and they have still managed to turn this, or they're trying to turn it into a circus. They're trying to turn it into a Harry and Meghan bashing fest. And no doubt the palace, in particular William, is behind all of this foolishness, or at least part of this foolishness. You saw in yesterday's podcast, if you didn't watch, go and watch it, how the Daily Fail had a perfectly reasonable article with a perfectly reasonable headline 1 minute, and then 2 hours later it changed. Sorry, it changed to mention William. There was also another article, I think in the Times today, that said wait, let me actually just find it. And Miss San actually retweeted it because it was just so ridiculous. Let me just find it now. The jealousy. Oh yeah, so the Times tweeted, the British ambassador praises the Sussex's 2-day trip to see children and aid workers, which comes a fortnight after Prince William visited the country. Jordan and Saudi Arabia are not the same country. William went to Saudi Arabia. This is the same Times, by the way, that called Tyler Perry a rapper. That's what we're dealing with. And why does William have to be mentioned? Well, at least the Times are accurately reporting one thing, and that's that the British ambassador praised Harry and Meghan. Indeed, the British ambassador did praise Harry and Meghan. So why is the Daily Fail reporting that the Foreign Office has distanced itself from Harry and Meghan? Somebody please make it make sense. The obsession with trying to twist everything Harry and Meghan are doing into something negative, even something positive like this. And I think it's partly because it's just becoming more and more obvious the difference and disparity between what Harry and Meghan are doing independently versus what the royals are doing with all of the money that they get from the sovereign grant, from the duchies, their personal and private wealth. The difference. And is now even more obvious and laid bare to see in the midst of all of this Andrew saga. You've got 2 royals on one side who are just doing their best to do something good. And then you've got the other royals on the other side. Finally, they've decided to come out the house and work, but it's only in the midst of scandal. And they're still not doing anything particularly impactful. We've got Camilla riding around in helicopters. I think Anne showed up to a quiz factory. Oh, that will end the cost of living crisis. And it's been a very successful trip. They are getting a lot of praise for it. And Harry publicly spoke about what's going on in Palestine and the fact that we need more open corridors. Now, granted, they went with the WHO, so I think they're still walking a political tightrope. But I give so much praise and respect to Harry for saying what he said. I'm going to play the audio. I also have to say I'm glad Harry said it, and I'm glad Meghan didn't really say anything. I just don't want Meghan to get any more heat than she already gets for doing absolutely nothing. While it would be nice to have Meghan, make a public statement as Harry has about Gaza, I just think for her own mental well-being and safety, I'm glad it's Harry that said it, if I'm honest. And much respect to Harry and to the both of them for making the donation that they did last September. But we know that they've been supporting World Central Kitchen from the very beginning for some time. So, or when I say beginning, it's not really the beginning, but from the major event that happened that kicked off the more recent events that have been going on in Gaza. Obviously, it's been going on since forever. So let's have a listen to what Harry has to say.
I think having spoken to Dr. Tedros for many months now, well, years, but specifically months in the lead up to this trip, it was really important for us to highlight the incredible work that Jordan does for this region. I think the work's been going on for decades, but more so recently as being a humanitarian hub for the Middle East, and especially everything that's going on in Gaza and also Syria as well. So I think the world should be incredibly grateful for what Jordan is doing and the moral leadership that it's showing for the world right now.
Yesterday, we were with you at a hospital where children are still being brought in who have only recently been injured in Gaza. How important is it that the world continues to pay attention here?
I think it's important for everybody. It's not just for me. It's not just for Dr. Tedros. I think the entire world has spoken up, and there's a lot of stuff in the news. It goes at an incredible pace, and what's been happening in that region has been going on for a long time, and it drops out of the news. So I think it was a really important time for us to collaborate and come here and shine a light and focus on the very real humanitarian catastrophe that has happened and continues.
We were with you this morning at a charity that is getting food into Gaza and is feeding 1 million people a day. But they're saying they're not getting anywhere near enough food. Medical aid isn't getting in. Journalists aren't getting in. Would you like to see an increase in all those things going in? Would you like to see independent journalists being let into Gaza?
I think again the world has spoken many times. So I think, yes, everything that I've heard and everything that I've seen, especially from World Central Kitchen, what we heard this morning on the live link, was that the food, the aid corridors need to be opened. They're currently not. And I know that Dr. Tedros has already talked extensively about food and medical supplies, the basic needs for full access for humanitarian organizations to be able to deliver that aid to the people that need it the most.
Dr. Tedros, Duke Sussex, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for covering this.
Thank you for that.
Now, mind you, before he started that interview, he did try asking about Andrew, but Harry wasn't having it. This trip is about what Jordan are doing for the people of Palestine, and that's the most important thing. Wasn't going to get sidetracked by Andrew nonsense. Mind you, the Andrew nonsense was overshadowed by the incident at the BAFTAs. Anyway, just like that, completely gone. Not even in the news. Andrew's name has dropped out. But anyway, well said by Harry. It's great to see them highlighting what Jordan had been doing. I was actually very unaware of this, and seeing that the support that they're trying to get for people within the region, and the amazing work that they're doing at that refugee camp, and where exactly it is that Harry and Meghan's donations are going. And again, it just shows that this work can be done without all of the pomp, pageantry, and nonsense. If you truly care about people and you want to give back, you just do. You don't need to be flying around in helicopters and red carpets and Jenny Packham gowns for what? You're there to serve people. Service is universal. Thank you so much too. Let's have a look here. Simone Black, thank you. You said, oh my God, I was able to get 2 when I checked back. 3 minutes later, it was sold out. Yeah. Bookmark was sold out. Thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you also to Joan Garcia for being a member for 26 months. You are awesome, Joan Garcia. You said you had a bookmark in the car. Added an item. It was gone. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see the email here from introducing the bookmark collection. Well, the bookmark's gone. I think you can still get it in the sets though. So there's the Heritage Library set, which has like some teas, candle, honey. The Golden Hour set, which has like spreads, teas, honey, and yeah, and a bookmark. And then the Steep and Settle set, which has the spice cider, a candle, and a bookmark. So you can still get the bookmark in sets. Very clever marketing. Let's go back to your comments. Heather, you said the royal family has done it to themselves. Andrew's association have touched every part of the monarchy. Indeed, they have. There's no going back from this, and I don't know why they think they can. Now, if anyone is going to add a touch of crazy to a perfectly, thoughtful thing that Harry and Meghan are trying to do, is going to be Angela Latrine. I don't like to give this lady too much attention. I just think it's so ridiculous at this point, the way that they keep wheeling her out. And I actually think that the British tabloids know that she's lost it, and they're actually laughing at her now. So she went on, I think it was LBC. Let's have it. Where is it now? Was it LBC or Talk TV? One of these. And Jeremy Vine was there. Jeremy Vine, an absolute troll. Look at the way he is sipping his tea, making fun of her. Now, just give me a sec, because I think the audio, I don't think it loaded properly. Hang on a sec. Let me try this again, and then I'm going to play the audio. And it's also just, at this point, the fact that not only is Angela Latrine making outrageous claims, she's just lying. Well, she has been lying. I don't think that this woman is well at all. And I actually think it's very irresponsible of them to keep having her on.
She and the ginger one have suddenly landed in Jordan on an unofficial 2-day humanitarian visit, meeting teenage victims of the wars and shaking hands. She's loving this, isn't she?
Yes, and I think it's disgusting. I want to get extremely annoyed. These crazy things that mean nothing, and she does it to try and have photographs. It's just...
Now notice they say she and they focus solely on Meghan, like Harry wasn't there. This is what I mean when I say I'm actually glad that Meghan didn't join Harry in making the statement that he did. Because of things like this. Because of people like Angela Latrine.
to have photographs. But I was very surprised and upset this morning when I hear there's a lot of Hamas in those people that she saw yesterday and the day before. They're supporting staff. And so we've got terrorists that they go around shaking hands and saying, hello, how are you? It's also...
They went to a hospital where there were people with horrendous burns and limbs falling off. That's where they went. This is hugely irresponsible for her to be saying this.
Dangerous because Iran is threatening to war, and they're gone to Jordan. They won't come to London, they won't come to the UK, but they won't go to Jordan where any moment there can be a war.
You're saying that Meghan Markle's hanging out with Hamas terrorists?
I'm not saying she's hanging out with them, but some of the people...
See the way he is trying to lead her with that question. He wants sound bites, not to take away from, Angela Latrine being irresponsible in what she was saying anyway, but he's clearly trying to stir the pot even more with this crazy crackpot.
Who are running these events in Jordan are Hamas.
She and the ginger one have suddenly landed in Jordan on an unofficial 2-day humanitarian visit, meeting teenage victims of the war.
What do you even say to that? What do you even say? Every day I think it can't get any more crazy. Also, the Telegraph posted this. Charles apparently went to visit his childhood nanny. His childhood nanny is still alive? How young was his childhood nanny? Because Charles isn't he in his 70s, 80s? I mean, who's the childhood nanny? Is it Angela Latrine? Must have been nice to have a nanny. Girl Louis, she said, troll Angela is beyond ridiculous. Her latest rant is totally unhinged. Oh my God, I can't believe they let her on TV. I mean, look at the way that Jeremy Vine is they know at this point she's the troll, but they're trolling her. The troll is getting trolled. It's like troll inception in here. Yes, Gwen, she needs mental help. Galosi said, I usually ignore but had to comment that on that post. She skates so close to defamation, hope it gets her in trouble. Yeah, she's getting closer and closer and closer to that. I feel like they're almost trying to take it there. But they should be careful, because if she did say something that could land her in trouble, wouldn't the platform she said it on also be in trouble? Mina, you said, I want these Neanderthals to get their karma and may their ancestors pay them a special visit. I think it's coming. I honestly think it's coming. I don't know when Charles is going to leave us, but when he does, honestly, I think hell is going to break loose. Archaeologists just might discover a new layer of hell. That's how crazy it's gonna get. We will discover a new layer of hell that wasn't even in the Bible. Because right now, it's all going to pieces. And the best that they can do is send Anne to a crisp factory, Kate to the rugby, And apparently, William is going to be taking the kids to the BTS concert. Squaddy Anne, another squaddy called Anne, messaged me and actually complained about this. She said that she is a massive BTS fan. She couldn't get tickets. But apparently William will be taking the kids. Apparently. She was very upset about that. Don't blame her. Because you know them tickets would have just been given for free. And that's going to be a photo opportunity. That'll all be part of the PR. Let's take the kids to a concert. Okay. Yeah, they know that she's going to say some nonsense. That's why they invite her on. Yeah, they need to make her do a Carol Malone. I do wonder if they're still going to sue GB News over that whole thing that she said about Meghan's mum. I think they should. Okay, that's that. Next thing. Fergie. Actually, no. We're not going to talk about Fergie at the moment. Let's talk about William. Let's talk about rude Prince William. Apparently, William is not liked by the royal photographers. So New Statesman not only published a major cover story this week about the crumbling House of Windsor, they also published a piece called On the Hunt for Prince Andrew Outside Sarrington. The British press had scented blood. A reporter basically went to Norfolk and chatted with the photographers and videographers who were staking out Sarrington, specifically Wood Farm, which is where Andrew was arrested and where he returned following his arrest. This piece is certainly enlightening about how royal photographers feel about the people within the crumbling House of Windsor, with several photographers saying some hilarious, harsh things about the royals. Here are some highlights. On the now famous shot of Andrew in the back seat of his Range Rover. The previous day, the circus had been camped by outside with the chance of catching Andrew returning from the police station after he was detained for 11 hours on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Andrew has, of course, denied any wrongdoing, but the ex-prince foiled them by taking the back entrance to the farm. It was Phil Noble from Reuters who got the shot of him lying down in the back of the car. The photographers were discussing it enviously. It's so sharp, one said. Don't know how he got that. Just luck. Perfectly dishevelled. He admired how alarming Phil had made Andrew look. They could have easily edited out the red eye, but they didn't. Swapping stories about the royals. The seasoned royal photographers were sheltering under the trees by St. Peter's, the neighbouring church. They were swapping war stories about the royals. They didn't seem to like any of them. William was the rudest of the lot, apparently. Horrible, ignorant, arrogant cunt, one said. Always tells me to F off. Really? Can you get that on camera, please? We have that one video of William calling the manager like a Karen when the photographer, got them on the path in Windsor. And he had William trying to call the palace grounds manager like a Karen. But I'm yet to see any footage of him telling a photographer to F off. The king was a bit more forgiving. Charles will give me a bollocking and then shake my hand the next day. They all miss Diana. She played the game, didn't she? Well, did she have a choice to? And then you hounded her to death. So the other royals, much more irritating than William, were the royals who didn't even make for good photos. Zara Tindall, Princess Anne's daughter, always shouted at them, chasing them off race courses and demanding they put their cameras away. Funny thing was, papers didn't even want pictures of her. flipping Zara. I can't give her away. How the photographers feel about royal reporters. They can't stand the way royal correspondents suck up to the Windsors. You look at what the Mail writers and what the Mail writes and you want to vomit, one said. It's not as if those journalists actually like the royal family. They're all sycophant on air, and then off air, twat, twat, twat. So these people literally all hate each other. By the way, folks, I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background, but where I am, it's monsoon season, and the rain is actually so heavy and loud right now that I'm struggling to hear myself. Like it's borderline cyclone. So I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm actually struggling to hear myself now. And it does this the rain does this weird thing where it comes so strong, maybe for like 30 seconds, and then quietens out like it has done just now. So I don't know if you can hear it. Let me know if you can. Because damn, I could just right. Oh my gosh, guys. It's now gone so quiet. That is crazy. That's been in the tropics. Anyway, sorry. Short distraction, but I literally just could not hear myself right then. Andrew's eventual move to March Farm, or Wood Farm, sorry. Andrew's eventual move to March Farm. He's currently on Wood Farm. Wood Farm is only a temporary hideout for Andrew. He's staying there while the king pays for renovations at March Farm, a more ramshackle property a few hundred meters away, where Andrew was due to live out his years. I walked down the dirt road to see his future home. It was an uneven red brick surrounded by outbuildings and empty stables. The house had 2 living rooms, 5 bedrooms. Well, not bad. Not bad for an S-offender. So yes, William is the rudest. Big surprise. I remember that video a few years ago, maybe. William aggressively getting in the photographer's face at Kate encouraged him and wound him up. Yes, that's the video that I was talking about, where he was acting like Karen, calling the manager. And yes, I believe most people who encounter William think he's an absolute cunt. That's the way he comes across normally. I can't imagine what he's like when he's not performing. And the slam on Zara Tindall is effing hilarious. And yes, I totally believe that royal reporters are two-faced monsters, spewing the palace's line while privately describing all of them as twats. Yeah, indeed. What a sorry and sad existence these people live. They need each other but hate each other. And that's actually a very, very interesting insight in the way that this all operates. What a sorry existence to live. And for money. Couldn't be me. This is not a fairy tale. This is not the fairy tale of royalty that they sold to you when you were a kid. There were no royal reporters in Cinderella. Closest thing you had to a royal reporter was the birds chirping in the trees, or the miceses running around. But this nonsense, what is this? This isn't a fairy tale. This is a complete nightmare. I mean, I guess the one accurate thing was there were Angela latrines in those fairy tales. There were trolls. That's probably the only accurate thing. Definitely has not been a fairy tale existence for Fergie. Now, Fergie tried to meet with Hollywood executives before Andrew's arrest. He still hasn't been formally charged, by the way. Although the police did execute search warrants. And that is still ongoing, but I don't think anything will come with that, to be honest. Unless there's some shuffling going on in Parliament. And they are talking in Parliament, but what they'll do exactly, I don't know. If I don't see Andrew in a courthouse or behind bars, then as far as I'm concerned, this is a big fat nothing burger. Now with Fergie, no one knows exactly where she is, but they seem to have traced movements from Switzerland to Qatar in recent months. Well, now Page Six is claiming that just before all of this Epstein stuff exploded this year, Sarah was trying to break into Hollywood again. So this is from Page Six. Former Duchess Sarah Ferguson was trying to pitch her 2021 romance novel as a TV or film project in Hollywood before the DOJ's Jeffrey Epstein files data dump, and before her ex, former Prince Andrew, was arrested in the UK, sources tell Page Six. I mean, doesn't she actually already have some romance novels? If Hollywood felt that they were worth anything, wouldn't she have been signed with a deal by now? You know, all those times back in the day, like when she appeared on Oprah. So she was asking for some of us to push her novel, Heart for a Compass, to be presented to networks and streamers as their next serious hit, as a cross between Bridgerton and The Crown. She'd had it rewritten and repitched and was asking for any connects to take on the project. Everyone was cautious. Nobody's going to want to touch this. The project was previously pitched to networks in 2023, but Fergie was trying a last Hail Mary in Hollywood. A source after execs at NBC, HBO, and Netflix. A source said after execs at NBC, HBO, and Netflix passed. A source tells us that Fergie was also telling her pals that her hands were clean concerning Jeffrey Epstein, while throwing her ex-husband under the bus as the true pal of the late disgraced financier. I'm sorry, but those emails tell us something else. A source tells Page Six that Fergie has tried to assure acquaintances in New York and LA that she was misled by Epstein. Or who are these acquaintances that she has in LA and New York? Who are they exactly? And that she allegedly begged friends to speak up for her to secure meetings with studios and production companies to develop a TV version of the book. Somehow Fergie wanted people who have worked with her or social friends to go to bat for her, said a source. She wanted some of us to actually vouch for her with businesses, media companies, and some non-profits to not only assure them she was being misrepresented by the Epstein files, but that she herself was some kind of casualty of wrongdoing. Bruh. You basically wanted to marry Epstein. What are you talking about? And was laughing about your daughters having a shagging weekend in emails. The files seemingly revealed a closer association. Fergie wrote to Epstein. The DOJ files revealed in 2009 saying, "You are a legend. I really don't have words to describe my love, gratitude for your generosity and kindness. XX, I am at your service. Just marry me." The same year, she allegedly wrote Epstein, "I urgently need £20,000 for rent." For rent! First of all, I think by now most people understand Sarah's deal beyond the Epstein stuff. She's a user. She's always broke. No one can count on her. She's always borrowing money for this and that. I imagine she got some meetings and everyone in Hollywood was like, "Oh my God, we cannot be in business with this woman in any way, shape or form." Even before the release of the Epstein files, Sarah's attempts at a comeback had worn thin. Now that we can read her emails and text to Epstein, any hope for another comeback is completely over. But I'm still curious about where she's hiding and what will happen to her. I'm actually concerned that some powerful people might see her as a loose end. I agree with that sentiment. And I get the feeling that it might not be just the British royals. I think Fergie has used a lot of people. I think she's used her name to get as much money, access, and resources as possible. I don't think it's just Epstein that she was going to. We know that she was going to Epstein just because the Epstein emails were released. There's plenty of other rich people that she obviously talks to. They're talking about she has friends in LA and New York that she's somewhere between Switzerland and Qatar. There are definitely people offering her money. And some of these elites, I mean, we know now from the Epstein emails, some of the stuff that's, coming out, what they were doing. I'm just going to keep it real. I wouldn't put it past Fergie to degrade herself even further to get money. Goodness knows at what point, how low this woman will sink. Because she's clearly desperate. And I believe that she's been cut off from royal money. I don't think Charles is funding her. I don't think the royal house is funding her. So she has to get money somehow. I think Andrew's done with her. And I think that Kaiser from Celeb Bitchy is right. I think that there are some powerful people who see her as a loose end. They could even use her and make her an example to keep Andrew quiet. This is why you need to, as a person, self-actualize and become your own person. Fergie, I think, thought that she was just going to marry into the royal family, marry Andrew. She got the worst of the princes. I mean, between Andrew and Charles is still the better one. And for her and her family, the way these aristos roll, that was making it. Getting one of the princes in line, the queen's son, but she got the worst of the queen's sons. Edward, by comparison, is better. So is Charles. I mean, Edward just sits there silently. I don't think Ford Fiesta has much issues at home. But Fergie ended up with Andrew. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay. Let's just quickly touch on this. Now, because of all of the controversy and everything that's happening, and they're trying to distract people from Andrew, put the news somewhere else, the royals have indeed been out and about. Kate made another appearance. Now, do you remember a few months ago, Kate was, I think it was at the Natural History Museum, with her blonde wiglet, and they took because this event was last minute, I believe this is why it was so poorly planned. Clearly nobody checked the weather. The kids and the teachers were getting wet, but Kate and her camera crew insisted on carrying on like robots with the meeting. And so you had the kids outside in the rain getting wet. Teachers were trying to protect them with their coats. Kate's there with her umbrella, doesn't offer her umbrella, or doesn't say, you know what, let's go inside. Oh no, she just carries on. And she did the same again yesterday at this event where she met kids. It's pouring down with rain. She's got an umbrella, but she's playing rock, paper, scissors with them, going down the line. Would be perfectly fine if it wasn't pouring down and everybody was getting soaking wet. Somebody's child is going to get a runny nose. Nobody on the PR team thought, you know what? Let's take this, just take this inside, get everybody inside. She was literally playing rock, paper, scissors while them kids are getting soaked. I mean, I understand protect the wig, protect the hair, but while the parents are out here while the parents and the kids are getting soaked, and to the parents, why do you continue to allow your kids to be used like this? Why are you allowing your kids to get soaked out in the rain? Why are you not saying anything about the fact that the royal has a giant umbrella and your kids are getting soaked? Measy, you said, I don't like Sarah, but I hope she spills the tea. Same. Got my popcorn ready. Chrissy, you said, again, they're used to stage scenes, not real situations, resulting in real reactions. Exactly. Oh, Chrissy, I wish I could pay you for that comment because you are correct. That's why everything always looks weird with them. Okay. That is all for today, folks. I will leave things there. There also seems to be a lot of articles popping up about Harry and Meghan coming back to the firm. Will they come back to the firm? I'm just ignoring them at this point. Harry and Meghan are doing absolutely fine. They don't need to come back to the crazy. Alright, folks, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on your way out. Links in the description box if you would like to donate. It is appreciated. And I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.